took the neuroeducation courses because I was introduced to Dr. Arwood through a conference, and as a speech and language pathologist, her theory and her methods were fascinating, and so I wanted to learn more about that and how that I could implement these theories and practices into my own practice as a school-based SLP.
So when the opportunity came up for a doctoral program with a neuroeducation focus offered for working teachers, I jumped right on board.
I knew that there was a lot of new science coming out about learning, the brain, and those things, but I had no idea what that meant for me as a teacher or how I could apply those things in the classroom. And so when I found out the University of Portland had a neuroeducation program, I was really excited. And when I got into the program, it was amazing. It was just what I was looking for.
I felt that in my field as an ELD teacher and administrator that the one lens that I was missing was the neuroeducation lens. And so I wanted to learn more about how the brain worked and how to incorporate that into my practice.
One of the major takeaways was that most students learn visually. And what that means for me is just using auditory language is oftentimes not enough, and almost all the times not enough for the students that I work with.
I think the biggest thing I learned was that every student can learn if given the right environment to do so. And when I adjusted my own classroom teaching to match today's visual learners' learning style and thinking style, I saw dramatic outcomes for them and for the relationships I had with them.
It definitely provided an overall vision and overarching framework for how to approach language. It challenged me to really think about how the brain worked and functioned and how we can apply it to learning in schools and education.
Because I serve students who are not traditional learners and who do not have traditional learning systems. And so I'm able to take what I know about the brain and what I know about language theory and what I know about the cognitive aspects of each student and apply it to their IEPs, apply it to their service plans, apply it to their everyday life with their families.
Things led sort of naturally one to another, and so I'd find out some history and some theory and then some new ideas that I could use in the classroom, and that was really awesome. I was worried that with the neuroscience and some of the language and these different components that I'd be lost, and the way they overlapped and the support from my peers and from the program staff were great, and I really appreciated the layout of the program.
Having Dr. Arwood there to help us with this translation from neuroscience to language to practice was a real honor. Her work has been truly groundbreaking in the field. We are the only neuroeducation program in the United States that considers language as a mediating factor in learning. And having her perspective on that was just, it really was changing. It really adds a new layer to it.
What surprised me was it's not your traditional setup for professional development or for continued education. This program is more set up for learning the theory and understanding why things are happening, so then you can apply all your knowledge to a student or a situation, not just a certain set of pre-scripted ideas that you learn at a conference.
You could see the thread through all the coursework, that you could see how one thing led to another, and it helped really with that depth of understanding as opposed to a lot of surface knowledge.
Well, what surprised me the most was really the application to how we acquire language, which is, my field is ELL, and I didn't really have a background knowledge around the process of acquiring language. I was always on the development side and understood language in a different context.
I didn't know how quickly I would be able to use the information in the courses in the classroom. There were ideas the first day of class that I could go back to the classroom and utilize. And the kids started to notice. They'd say, hey, we haven't done this before. And I was like, no, and I haven't either, but we'd try it and it worked. And those were things that I was taking directly out of class, ideas I was getting from my classmates, from the teachers. And they were things I never would have thought of on my own. And so that just, it blew me away.